Hi, Richard Norton here, down at Team Karate Centres in Woodland Hills, and thrilled to finally be able to meet Graciela Casillas. And for those who don't know, Graciela was a legendary martial artist, had a 31-0 record of kickboxing and boxing, and boxing champion, everything else, runs her own system now. But why I just want to sit and chat is that this is a new book that Graciela has come out with called The Lioness Within. And I'm interested just because I've been doing, not as many as Graciela, but doing some women's self-defense seminars and courses, and hence the idea of this book. So I just wanted to share that with everybody and have a chat to Graciela. And we were talking, if you can tell us, Graciela, because I know that the idea of this book is it's not a technique book. It's not about how to punch, how to do a palm heel and everything, but the incredibly important aspect of mindset, correct?
And first of all, I want to say this book was not written for committed martial artists. This book was written for the average woman who maybe has never walked into a dojo or martial arts school, but simply wants to learn how to defend herself, how to protect herself, develop situational awareness. So it's a book, and as you said, there's not a lot of there aren't any techniques in there per se, from A to C. It's information as to how to develop more of a survival attitude. It's focusing more on the psychological and the mental aspects of personal protection. So it teaches you more how not just, often we're told you have to be careful, be aware of your environment, but women are not taught what that really means. What does it mean to be aware of your environment? Does it mean to notice that the flowers are blooming, or does it mean to notice the man walking towards you and on a hot day with an overcoat in his hands in his pocket? Things like that.
Yeah, and that's what people are missing, isn't it? So it's usually so much about the technique. And we were talking with Judy, with my wife. Judy will be out front doing a bit of gardening, and she's just learned that even if a car happens to slow down, disappears back in the gate, shuts it, because we have a saying that it's better to be wrong about being right. And an analogy I use all the time is instead of teaching somebody how to get out of quicksand when they're buried up to their waist, teach them how to see it in the first place and walk around it. So I think rather than just go into, the worst case scenario of now it's hands-on and now physical, which of course is part of it, what Graciela's dealt with is, again, just the awareness and the mindset and getting rid of this attitude of it, it couldn't happen to me, and going with your gut instinct as much as anything.
And I'm not dismissing the fact that you do need to learn how to physically protect yourself, but I think this is a good book to prepare you before you start learning how to kick and punch or how to defend yourself against somebody trying to choke you. And, it's interesting because you mentioned your wife, Judy, and listening to her, she was saying about how sometimes she feels like she's paranoid. And I think that being aware never means you're paranoid.
Right.
It just means that she has it together, that she knows what to look for, partly also being, with you, but that she's learned from you. But that's the way you should be. It's never paranoia. It's just always looking ahead and knowing that something doesn't feel right, you follow that, your intuition, you follow your gut feeling. And that's where oftentimes women get themselves in trouble, because after the fact they'll say, gosh, I had this gut feeling and I wish I would have followed my intuition.
Yeah, and as we say, you've only got to be wrong once, and it's a life-changing situation. That's what people need to remember. But the great thing with Graciela as a studio is, yes, you can also go there and learn the physical aspects of once it is hands-on and you put in your worst sort of physical position. And also, as Graciela was saying, that a lot of ladies should understand too, it's not a matter, of just doing one class and now I'm able to defend myself. It is a commitment, but what an important commitment. And you hope to God you never have to actually use that ability. But if it ever comes down to that one time, as I said, it can be a life-changing event, right?
And in terms of training, I always think of there's art, there's sport, and there's street. And so when women go to learn how to protect themselves, they want to make sure that they choose a school, whatever school that is, if that's what they're looking for, that is the focus. and that they are aware of the difference, and that they seek out an instructor that is mindful of this is going to prepare you for the street versus this is going to prepare you for competition.
Absolutely, a whole different stimulus,
Exactly.
right? That brings on that response, and yeah, reality-based training, as you say, is such a different thing to what we would call consensual sparring. Consensual sparring, boxing's consensual, all MMA is consensual. You know who you're going to fight. The problem with the street is there's no rules. You don't know how many people are involved, and that's why I think again I'm just so excited about this book, because it's a very undercovered kind of subject and topic of that pre-fight. How do I avoid getting in that situation in the first place? So again, fantastic book, The Lioness Within. It's only been out a month, but it's just a great read, but not just for ladies, but for men, and especially anyone running a school of martial arts. That's why I'm so interested in teaching these seminars. I'm not a lady, I'm not going to get in the same situation, but to have like this sort of education, be able to pass that on to other ladies that come into your school is a fantastic, it's a great thing that you can offer society. So.
And I do think that's important, because I believe there's still more men out there teaching women's self-defense than women. So, having that understanding, male instructors will be able to be more empathetic in terms of, what women go through.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Graciela.
Thank you.
Nice to run into you.
Nice
Enjoyed
to-
that.